Peace. My name is Amy Nishama, and today is December 26, 2021. According to the 13 moon calendar, it's rhythmic moon 14 of year of the yellow electric seed. And as of right now, we're still in the year of the ox. So today I wanted to film one of the first official videos I'm filming for my YouTube channel, Natural Intel. And in this video, I wanted to summarize and build upon a short but compact book I recently read called Thoughts Are Things by Edward Walker. So after doing a little bit more research on the author, I learned that that's one of the many author names he goes by. He's also more popularly known as William Walker Atkinson. He wrote the book in 1909, and I think around that time he wrote hundreds of books, or around 100, over 100 books. So the subjects that he covered had to do with metaphysics and the occult. It had to do with mental science, and a lot of his published works deal with how you could use your mind to better your life. You could use your mind to magnetize success into your life. Also understand how to harness your thought power. It just largely covered a lot of topics around mysticism. So, the reason why I wanted to talk about this book, well, one, I'm an Aquarius, and we're entering the age of Aquarius as I speak. And the sign of Aquarius is an air sign. It has to do with the ether, it has to do with intellect, it has to do with mind. So what that represents is mental alchemy, the ability to transform and affect reality through the mind. It has to do with thought magic, and because of that, I thought this was really fitting. So the title of this book is Thoughts Are Things, and it gives us opportunity to really have a basic and simple understanding of thought. Now, why is the basic or the simple important? Well, a lot of people, they just want the master key. They want the ultimate recipe. They want the formula right away to whatever they want to achieve. But instead of giving you one specific recipe, we can have a better understanding of each ingredient. And so I think thought is one of those ingredients when it comes to alchemy, when it comes to changing your life. And once you understand thought really for what it is, how you could use it, how you could implement it, then you could create your own recipe for success, because there is not a one-size-fits-all thing. You feel me? So everybody knows what thinking is, knows what a thought is, but have you ever really studied or looked at the definition of a thought for what it really is? And the perspective that I'm approaching it from through this book is, how do thoughts affect our physical reality? Why are thoughts so important? And like the book talks about, what's the thingness of thoughts? And thingness referring to the physical effect of thoughts. So the book has 5 or 6 chapters. I encourage everybody to go read the book yourself. You could buy it online, you could find it in PDF form. But with some notes that I wrote and printed out, I'm going to take us through kind of the overall points that's made. So let me start out by bringing up the word metaphysics. If you know what physics is the study of matter, the study of reality. Now the word meta means beyond or transcending. So metaphysics has to do with what's beyond reality, transcending reality, which is the spiritual aspect, the mental aspect. So metaphysics is the study of reality as created by the mind, as created by you. Thought exists in the mind, and it's that which exists in the mind before everything and anything else could be created into this world. They call this world a shadow world, a world of illusion. So this world comes from that unseen. So in the first chapter, it talks about the way that thoughts manifest into things, which is 4 primary ways. The first way is manifesting in personality. So you're pretty much the composite of all your thoughts. Through your thought, how you see yourself shapes you and how you move through the world. Just as much as we would say the environment affects our thoughts, your thoughts affect your environment. What you attract, what you draw to you. Your thoughts also literally affect your biological and chemical makeup. Certain thoughts relating to certain emotions can trigger different hormones in your body. You could literally think yourself into disease, God forbid, or think yourself into healing. Your thoughts define who you are. So that famous saying, I think, therefore I am. Well, you are whatever you think. You feel me? I think that I'm powerful, therefore I am powerful. If you see yourself as a successful person, then that's what you shall become. Okay, so that's the first way, thoughts manifesting in personality. So the second way that thought manifests is thought manifesting into physical, material existence. Watching the thoughts that you have literally become before your eyes in reality. You had an idea for an invention, you made that a reality. You had an idea for who you want to become and where you want to be, you put that into reality. You had an idea for a project, you put that into reality. Um, when I was 17, I had a YouTube channel where I would do interviews, and how I started it was because I was on a plane and I had that idea, and within the first 5 seconds I started writing it down and planning it. So, and then I brought it to life. So it literally started as a seed in my mind. So if that's not magic, I don't know what is, because something that you thought of within, something that was internal, becomes real in the external world, becomes tangible. The third way that thought manifests is manifesting in attraction. Your thoughts is what's going to attract like-minded people to you, like-minded things, like-minded situations, a place. If your perspective of people is that they're malicious or deceitful, then you might attract deceitful people. So the subject or state of our thoughts is what we draw towards us, what we bring towards us. And the fourth way that thoughts manifest as things is manifesting as vibratory waves or thought waves. Your thoughts send out a vibratory wave. Now, quoting the book, it says, mental currents are just as real as currents of light, heat, electricity, or magnetism. Each kind of thought has its own rate, degree, and character of vibration. And so because of that, we have control over all our thoughts, but not all of our thoughts come from us. Other people send thoughts to you just as you send thoughts to others. When you watch TV, when you watch YouTube, there's certain thought waves that are being thrown at you. When you watch an ad, that's throwing a thought wave at you. And so once you have a consciousness of what a thought wave is, you could be more conscious of what thoughts you let affect you. So the thoughts that you're going to attract are the thoughts that are on your level, that are of a degree that matches you. So, quoting the book again, the students of the subject seem to prefer the terms thought vibrations, thought waves, mental currents, etc. The matter of names, however, is not important. The vital fact being that every person is constantly sending forth mental currents at different degrees of power, character, and quality, which often travel to great distances, and which, coming in contact with the minds of other persons in whom is manifested a degree of harmony with the character of the thought, there tends to induce or reproduce the original thought, emotion, feeling, desire, or other mental state. Okay, so this might make you think of something called telepathy. Now, in what way is it kind of different from telepathy? Telepathy would be somebody transmitting to you a literal image or sentence, or you know what I'm saying, message. However, a thought current is just kind of using your mind to direct that energy towards that person so that they'll get that feeling. So if you've ever gotten the feeling like you can't get somebody out of your head, that person might really be dwelling on you, thinking about you. Or when you're dwelling on that person, you might enter their mind in that same manner. Have you ever had an experience where you're thinking about someone, then you receive a message from them soon after? That thought current has reached you. When somebody has really positive thoughts about you, they're thinking about you in love and warmth, they could send you a positive thought current. Or when somebody has negative intent towards you, they could be sending a negative thought current. Depending on where your mind is at, defines what current is able to reach you, what you are more receptive to, or what you could be more vulnerable to. I also thought this was important because of propaganda and psychological or thought warfare. Like I said, not all thoughts might come from you. Because there's propaganda attacking your subconscious, you want to have a level of defense. So the book gets into two ways to defend or control thought currents. The first one is to avoid what is mentally unaligned with you. So you don't want to be around people that are thinking negative thoughts all the time. You don't want to give your attention to forces that are putting out negative thoughts. The second is to be able to have such a positive framework so that negative thoughts can't even reach you or touch you. Quoting the book, cultivate strong positive thought vibrations of your own, which will overpower and beat off the opposing mental currents of others. The law in the mental world, as in the physical, is that positive overcomes negatives. And so you have the power to define what thoughts reach you, the character of your thoughts. So the next chapter, chapter 3, is called Thought Atmospheres. So your thoughts create an atmosphere around you. One's thought atmosphere would also be like one's aura. If you're dwelling in a place of darkness within, that energy is going to be felt like people who come in contact with you. Somebody who's at peace, harmony within themselves, they're going to have an aura that just feels good, that's golden, that's light. Your thought atmosphere is what makes you magnetic, is what decides what is attracted to you. Every person is a magnet of thought. I like this paragraph in the book. It said, have you ever noticed that when a man is filled with a strong burning desire to express a certain line of mental activity and sets to work to make his thoughts take form in action, there seems to be set into operation a train of circumstances that tend to draw to him the persons, things, and environments conducive to that particular line of expression, or else to draw the man himself away from his old environment, occupation, and surroundings into the presence of those better adapted to the expression of his thought. A little consideration will show you, either from your own experience or that of others, how common is this occurrence. We hear much of people finding, by chance, the very things needed to complete their invention, story, theory, etc. We hear of others finding, by accident, the very book containing the information that they needed, or the person who could and would put them on a path of that which they sought. But there is no chance or accident about these things. They are a part of the working of the law of cause and effect in its phase of thought attraction. Life is full of these occurrences, but we pass them by heedlessly and carelessly until we become acquainted with the law. So, like this is saying, it's not just by chance. It's a synchronicity that comes from the universe conspiring around what thoughts you put out, which has to do with the principle of what you seek is seeking you at the same time. When you ask a question, that answer wants to come towards you. Like in the example that was just given, the piece of information that you need, you might randomly find it in a book. The events that we invite into our lives are largely created by our thoughts. So, some people will say, that's not true because I never wanted a negative thing to happen to me. Well, like I said before, we got to recognize that not all thoughts come from you. There could be certain thoughts that are implanted into your mind. It could be fear that was subconsciously implanted into you, or it could just be a fear that you have, and because of the emotional power of that fear, you end up attracting those things towards you. Understanding that, then you want to overcome those fears, you want to overcome those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. Instead of thinking about what you don't want to happen and what you're scared of and what you're worried about, you want to think about what you want. You want to think about what you're confident in order to get the outcome that you desire. The 5th chapter of the book gets into the creative power of thought creating into reality. And one way that you could do this, which many self-empowerment practices will tell you to do, is visualization. By seeing it in your mind first, then you have it come about in reality on the outside. So one thing that really affected and helped me with visualization is understanding that visualization is not only just seeing the literal picture in your mind when you close your eyes. Of course, that is also what it is, but that could be hard to do. That's not the only aspect of it. It's really creating a sensory image, sensing it, feeling it. What does what you're visualizing feel like to you? What does it smell like? What does it sound like? Try to use your senses to tap into it. So once you've created that thought, that mental creation of what you want, then you want to attach the feeling to it. You want to attach the desire to it. How bad do you really want what you want? So about this in the book, it says, bestow upon your mental picture or ideal a constant supply of desire. Look at your picture and then long for it, crave it, hunger and thirst for it. And by doing so, you will set into motion the natural laws of the thought world, which will tend to make real your ideal. From the summary, I hope that you have a more comprehensive understanding of the simple definition of thought and a polished relationship to the power that is your mind. So in videos to come, I'm looking forward to building upon more ways that we could use our gift as creators, our connection to source within, to shape the world around us and create the world that we want. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Amy Nishama, and this is Natural Intel.